All right, let's go ahead and solve this quadratic by factoring using the area model. So let's go ahead and get started. Just like in class, what we're going to do is start with the area model by drawing out the box and starting to insert all of the pieces of the area model. So we know that 8m squared, our leading term right there, goes right in the first box. And then our constant term goes into the last box. So that +9 is going to go into this last box. Let me go and put that right here, +9. And then we also know that what is left over is that these two boxes right here must add to 18m. So I'm going to put that right there at the diagonal. Now, if you remember, the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to take 8m squared and find the product of the main diagonal with that 9. So I'm going to write 8m squared times 9, or 72m squared. Now, the thing that we need to remember is that the numbers that multiply to 72m squared have to add to 18m. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this easy. I'm going to make a list of numbers that multiply to 72. So I'm just going to start with easy ones. So 1m times 72m. And then I'm just going to go through the list of multiples. 2m times 36m. And let's just keep going. So 3m times 24m. 4m times 18m. Remember, these are all multiples of 72. I'm just kind of guessing and kind of working through some numbers. 6m, 6 times 12, 6m times 12m is 72m, and then 8m and 9m. All right, so we go through this list. What we know is here are our multiples, and what we need them to do is add to 18m. So I'm going to say, okay, well, I've got 1 and 72. That won't give me an 18. 2 and 36. No way that's going to add to an 18. 3 and 24. Not going to give me 18. 4 and 18. Definitely not going to give me 18. But what about this 6 and 12? Well, in order to get 18, I could do 6m plus 12m, and that will give me 18m. And so I think those are going to be my working numbers. So 6m plus 12m is going to be 18m. And what I'm going to do is I'm just simply going to put them into place. So 6m and 12m. Now, once we've got that sum in there, we have to go ahead and begin factoring and finding the outside of the box. And how we're going to do that is by starting to find a greatest common factor. So let's do that. I'm going to go to 8m squared and 12m, and I'm going to find the greatest common factor from that box. So what number will divide 8 and 12? The largest number that'll divide that is going to be 4. And they both have an m. So I'm going to say 4m. So the greatest common factor is 4m. I'm going to put that right here. Now from here, I am just going to start figuring out some basic math stuff. So 4m times what? So 4m times what will give me 8m squared? Well, 4 times 2 and m times m will give me 8m squared. Then I'm going to go through the exact same process. I'm going to say, okay, I've got 4m. I need to find out what to multiply it by to get 12m. So 4 times 3 is 12. And m times, well, I don't need anything. It's already got an m on there. So 4m times 3 is 12m. And this is a +3. Now, I'm going to continue that process. I'm going to say, okay, well, I've got a 2m now. 2m times what will give me 6m? Well, 2 times 3 will give me 6. And m times, well, I don't need to put another m on there because that would give me an m squared. So just m, 2m times 3 will give me 6m. Now, at this point, we have our factored form. We have 2m plus 3, and we have 4m plus 3. and that is equal to 0. So we factored that and we still have it equal to 0. So now we want it equal to 0. So in order to solve for m, what we're going to do is we're going to take those two pieces apart and we're just simply going to solve them. So I'm going to take the first one, 2m plus 3, and set it equal to 0. And then I'm going to take the second one, 4m plus 3, and set it equal to 0. And we are just going to do some basic solving. So I'm going to subtract the 3, two-step problem. I'm going to get 2m equals to -3. I'm going to divide by 2. And that will say that m is equal to -3 over 2. Now that would be one of our solutions for m. And now I'm going to find the second solution because there's going to be two of them. Remember, this is a parabola. And since it's a parabola, there a lot of times there's going to be two answers, not every single time, but there can be. Okay, and so I'm going to subtract 3 over, I'm going to do 4m equals 0 minus 3, which is -3. I'm going to divide by 4, and m is going to come out as -3 over 4. All right, so now we have our solutions. We have -3 over 2 as our first solution. So we have -3 over 2 as our first solution. And we have our next one, which is going to be -3 over 4. So I'm just going to simply type in -3 over 4 as our next solution. Okay, and that is how we do this. We're going to factor, and then we're going to take our two factors, and we're going to set them equal to 0 and solve for our variable. All right, y'all, I hope that helps you with solving for our x-intercepts and making sure we're able to solve quadratics.